What's up guys, welcome back to another video in the SQL Made Simple series. In this video, we'll be seeing how you can filter for data that meets multiple conditions. There are often times when you want to pick a very specific data, and when I say specific data, I mean you need data that meets multiple conditions or criteria. So when you need to filter for multiple conditions, the AND is your go-to operator. But when you need to look at data that meets at least one condition, the OR is your go-to operator. And in this video, we'll be clarifying how you can do this. My name is Kola Ademola, and I'll be walking you through this step by step and in details. So without wasting so much time, let's get straight to the video. In SQL, the AND and the OR operator helps us to filter data by combining multiple conditions in our where clause. So this way, we are able to filter for even more specific or precise data points. The AND operator ensures that all the conditions we specify must be met before a record is included in our results. Imagine this example. We have customers living in multiple cities, and then we just want to look at customers in a specific city, but at the same time, in that city, we are not looking at all the customers. We are just interested in the male customers still within that city. Now, that is two conditions. We only need to look at customers in this city, and there should be male customers alone. So a typical example could just be male customers in Port Harcourt City. So that way, we are making sure that the city aligns with what we want and their gender also aligns with what we want. So with the AND operator, you are able to filter for multiple conditions at the same time. And like I said earlier, this helps us ensure that all conditions must be met before any result or customer is included in that result. The customer must be a male and the customer must be living in Port Harcourt City. Meanwhile, when we talk about the OR operator, this only returns record if at least one of the conditions that you specify is true or is met. A typical example for this would be something like, give me, or you're trying to look at a list of products that you have, and you just want to see products that are either a mobile phone or a laptop. Now, if you see a product that's a mobile phone, you want that. If you also see a product that's a laptop, you want that. A product doesn't necessarily have to be a mobile phone and a laptop at the same time for you to get that. So if the product is a mobile phone, it's good to go. If the product is also a laptop, it's good to go. So either of this option is what we need. So that is where the OR operator comes in. This only gives us a result so long as at least one of the conditions we specify is met. So understanding when to use each of these operators is very important, how they interact. All this will help make our queries much more powerful. And in this video, I'll walk us through how the AND filters data by requiring multiple conditions to be met, how the OR operator expands our result by allowing either conditions that we specify to be met before it gives us a result, and most importantly, how you can even combine them together for even much more precise filtering. Remember, the whole purpose of this series is to help you make SQL simple. And by the end of this video, you will be filtering data like a pro. So let's not waste so much time. I'll jump straight to my Postgres screen. In order to understand the AND and the OR operator, we are going to be using a couple of questions. We have 6 questions here to just better see how these operators work and how they function. So the very first question we have here says, find the name and the email of female customers living in Port Harcourt. And the trick we've been using so far is when you have a question in front of you, the first step is to figure out what table you can find this data from. And in our case, what table can we get this kind of data from in our database? We need to take a look at the customers table. So after you figure out what table you need, the next step is taking a look at the data you have in that table. And when we execute this code, that should show us that table. And here now we can see all the information within the customers table. Now let's take a look at the question again. Find the name and email of female customers living in Port Harcourt. So first of all, we can already see different kinds of customers. We are seeing male, we are seeing females, we are seeing customers living in multiple or different cities. But we'll start with the first part of the question, female customers. So that means from within these our results, we don't need male customers in our results. We only need the female customers. And what does this mean? We need to filter this result down to show us only female customers. And how do I filter my data? Remember, we use the where clause. So what do I want to filter from? I want to filter from the gender column, since that is where I can tell if the customer is a male or female. So just go ahead and say where the gender is equal to female. Female in this case is a text data, so we'll have to put that in quotes. So say F in quotes. Remember, our data uses just M or F. So let's run this and see what we get so far. Now, looking at the result again, we are only seeing female customers alone. But still, this does not satisfy our question because I can still see customers living in different cities. Remember, we only want female customers living in Port Harcourt alone. So that means I need a second filter condition. I need to apply a second criteria to this. Now, when you need to apply multiple conditions to your filtering, what you need is either the AND or the OR operator. But which of them are we going to use in this case? Now, for these customers we are trying to get, they have to be women, and at the same time, they have to be living in a specific location. So I need these two conditions to be met. I need these two conditions to be true. When you find yourself in that kind of situation, that tells you it is the AND operator. When you need all the conditions you're looking at to be met before you get the data. So in this case, whatever customer we are going to show, the customer has to be a female customer, and at the same time, this female customer has to be living in Port Harcourt. So now that we understand the AND operator is what we need, so we'll go ahead and say AND. Then what other filter condition do we have? We need to check what city they are living in. So we just say and the city is equal to Port Harcourt. And as you can see here, I am matching this exactly the way it is in the data. Remember, I told us that when you're filtering, whatever you're filtering for should match exactly the way you have it in your data. Because if it doesn't, you may not get the desired results. So if I should run this, you can see this is now telling us that we have just 2 female customers in Port Harcourt. So just to demonstrate the aspect where I mentioned that whatever you're filtering for has to match what you have in your data. If I should spell Port Harcourt wrongly, or if I miss the case, also it is also case sensitive, extremely case sensitive, if I may even add. If I make this H here, even in lowercase, and I rerun this query, now you can see I'm not getting any result. I'm getting an empty table. As you already know, an empty table is not an error. An empty table just means what you're filtering for is not present in your data. So we need to take a look at our filter. Instead of lowercase h, it has to be uppercase h. So let's rerun. And now we are getting back the result we had earlier because in our data, we have it just exactly the way it is. Now, if we take a look at these results, does this satisfy the requirements for this question, or does this satisfy the question that we have right here? Looking at it, it doesn't, because the question says we should just find their names and their emails alone. Even if the question went on to say we should find the name and email of female customers living in Port Harcourt. Now, our filter is handling that and making sure that whatever result we get, they are going to be females, and at the same time, they will be living in Port Harcourt. So all we just need to do is check what we have in our select clause. instead of selecting every column, which is why we are seeing customer ID, customer name, phone number, and every other column, now we need just two specific columns. The customer name, comma, and we also need their email as well. And we run it. You can now see we are getting just the names and the email of these female customers living in the specified location. So we've been able to successfully look at the first one. I'll move on to the second one, which says find all orders that were delivered to the customer with ID 21. What do we do first? We'll try to see what table we can get this from. This is definitely the orders table. So take a look at that table. Select all from orders, and we can see all this information from the orders table. But here, we only need orders that were delivered to a specific customer. So what does that mean? We no longer want to see all these different orders. We need specific information. So we have to filter our result down. And what do we use in filtering? The where clause. So we can start by filtering for the delivery status. Remember, it says orders that were delivered. And from the delivery status column, we can tell if an order has been delivered, shipped, or still processing. So here we go and we see where the delivery status is equal to delivered. Remember, from our data, delivered is in uppercase. So the D is in uppercase. Now, if we should run the code the way we have it at the moment, this is giving us all the delivered orders. But looking at the customer ID column, these are orders delivered to different customers. Our question says orders delivered to a specific customer, a customer with ID 21. That means we need to adjust our filter condition. We have a second criteria. And for this to be accurate, both conditions need to be met. It must be delivered, and not just delivered, it must be delivered to this specific customer. So that means we need to use the AND operator since both conditions need to be met. We can go ahead and say, and the customer ID is equal to 21. And if we execute this now, we get our results. We only have just one result. This means we only have one delivered order to customer with ID 21. So that's basically how the AND operator works. You use the AND operator when you know that all the conditions that you require must be met before you get back any data. If any of those conditions are not met, you don't need that data. All conditions must be met. So moving on, we'll look at how the OR operator works. So let's look at this question tree here. This one says we should get the name, price, and cost of laptops and mobile phones. So where can we get this kind of information? This is definitely going to come from the products table. So what do we do next? We take a look at that table. So let's have a sneak peek, and we can see all this information coming from the products table. So what do we need? We need the price and cost of laptops and mobile phones. And looking at our data, especially from the product category column, you can see we have some mobile phone products, we have some laptop products, we have products that are also accessories. But in this case, we need mobile phones and laptop alone. So what do? Already we know we have to filter this our results. So we see where. And where can we tell if a product is a mobile phone or a laptop or an accessory? It's from the product category column. So we go where product category is equal to, you can decide to start with laptop. And if we should run this the way it is at the moment, this is showing us only laptop products. But is this what we want? No. We want both products that are laptop or mobile phones. So basically laptop and mobile phones. That is what we want to see in our results, not just laptops alone. Now, if you follow the way the question is structured, it says laptops and mobile phones. If that should make me do something like this, and products category is equal to, mobile phone should be in uppercase, mobile phone, and let's see what this gives us. Now this is giving us an empty table. Remember I told us that an empty table just basically means the data you're looking for is not present. So does this mean we don't have laptop or mobile phone products even if we just saw laptop products just a few seconds ago? So let's take a look so I can explain what is happening here. So we can see we have laptop products, we have mobile phone products, we even have accessories. So how come this filter logic is not giving us what we want? So that is because we are using the AND operator here. And what this means, or how this is trying to work, is that it's trying to look for a product where the category is a mobile phone and at the same time is also a laptop. So why we are getting an empty table is because a product can only fall under one category at a time. So a product can only be a mobile phone, or it's a laptop, or it's an accessory. A product cannot be both or all three at the same time. As you can see, this product can only be a mobile phone and a mobile phone alone. It cannot be a mobile phone and a laptop, or a mobile phone and an accessory, or even all three. So that is why this logic is not working the way we are expecting it to work. So when you use the AND operator, you're just basically trying to say everything should fit into that condition and everything should be met. So this is not working for that reason. A product can only fall under one category at the same time. So what does this mean? We are trying to look at products that are mobile phones and products that are laptops. So I want to see mobile phone, I want to see laptop. The only thing we don't want to see in this case is accessories. So instead of using the AND, what we have to use is the OR operator. So now this will just go ahead and filter in this manner to look at products that are laptops and also give us products that are mobile phones. So if the product is a mobile phone, it's good. If the product is a laptop as well, it's good, so long as accessories are not among. So let's rerun this and see what we get. And as you can see, we are now getting both results for mobile phones and results for laptops. So the OR operator is going to give us a result if at least one of the specified conditions are met. So in this case, is the product a mobile phone or a laptop? For this first one, is a mobile phone. That is why we are seeing it. On the second one, is the product a mobile phone or a laptop? Is a laptop. It meets one of the conditions. Is it a mobile phone or a laptop? It's a mobile phone. It meets one of the conditions. So why the AND was not working was because it is checking at the same time. Is this product a mobile phone and a laptop? As you can see, this is just a mobile phone. It is not a mobile phone and a laptop. So that is why the AND operator was not giving us the expected result. So when you want a situation whereby at least one of your conditions should be met before you get back the data you need, just know you need the OR operator. And looking at this, does this satisfy our question? No, because what we need is just the name of the product, the price, and the cost. So instead of selecting all the columns, we'll go ahead and select just the product name, comma, the unit price, and finally the unit cost for that product. So if we run this query now, this is now the accurate data that we need based on the question we are working with. So we have the product name, the unit price, and the cost. And if you look through all these products, they are either a mobile phone or a laptop. So be mindful of your question. Your question may carry AND or OR, but that doesn't necessarily mean that is the operator you have to use. Make sure you understand the question properly. So moving on to the fourth one, it says find all orders that have been shipped or still processing. So we want to find all orders that have been shipped or still processing. So what do? We start by figuring out what table we need, and based on this question, we can only get such data from the orders table. So we'll take a look at that table. We can see all this information. From here we can tell if an order has been shipped, processing, or has been delivered. But in this case, we want to look out for orders that are either shipped or processing. So what does this mean? We need to filter our results down. And what are we filtering by? The delivery status column, since that is the only place we can tell if the order has been shipped, delivered, or is still processing. So we'll go where the delivery status, is equal to shipped, or the same delivery status is equal to processing. Okay, the P should be in uppercase, is equal to processing. So basically we are saying the delivery status can be shipped or the delivery status can be processing. It must not be both. If it is shipped, just like this very first row, we are good. Or if it is processing, let me see, or if it is processing, we are also good. But for something like row number 2, is it shipped? No. Is it processing? No. Then this will not be a part of our results. For this one, is it shipped? Yes, it already meets one of the conditions. For something like processing, is it shipped? No. But is it processing? Yes, it meets a part of the condition. So you can see this in our result. So delivered does not meet any part of our condition. So we will not see delivered in our results. So when we run this, this should correctly give us orders that are either shipped or still processing. So basically, that is how the OR operator works. With the OR operator, you are trying to look if any of the conditions you had specified is true, and if that is the case, you should include it in your results. So the only time you will not get a result for your OR operator is when none of the conditions are met. And here's another thing we need to understand about the AND and the OR operator. So the OR operator, you can use the OR operator to filter from multiple columns. It could be something like where delivery status is shipped, or product ID is P13, or customer ID is 21. So this will look at all those conditions, and whichever one meets any of the condition, it adds it to your results. Meanwhile, the OR operator can also still filter from the same column multiple conditions, just like we have here. Is the delivery status shipped, or is the delivery status processing? So the OR operator has the ability to filter from multiple columns and the same column. Meanwhile, the AND operator can only filter from different columns. The AND operator cannot filter for multiple conditions on the same column. Just like the demonstration we did earlier for this question number 3, where we tried doing product category is equal to laptop and product category is equal to mobile phone. You saw that led to an empty table. The reason is because we are trying to apply the AND operator on the same column for multiple conditions. Is the product category laptop, and is the product category also mobile phone? Even though we know a product can only be assigned one category. So the AND operator doesn't really work when you're filtering for multiple conditions on the same column, because on a single column, you can only have a single data point at a time. You cannot have multiple data points. So the AND operator doesn't work when you try to combine it with the same column. You are looking at multiple conditions from the same column. But the OR operator is able to do that, just like we've seen. We are saying, is the delivery status shipped, or is the delivery status processing? Is the product category a laptop, or is the product category a mobile phone? These are all from the same column. The OR operator can help you filter that, but the AND cannot. The AND can only filter from different columns. Is the customer ID 21, and the product ID the purchase is it P18, and is the delivery status shipped? These are all multiple columns, different conditions that can work with the AND, but the AND cannot filter for different conditions from the same column. I hope that helps to understand the difference between these two operators better. So let's move on to question 5. This one says we should find all customers living in Ikeja, Calabar, or Port Harcourt. All male customers living in Ikeja, Calabar, or Port Harcourt. So with this example, we are going to see how we can combine these operators together. So let's start by introducing the table we need. This is going to be coming from the customers table. So let's take a look at the customers table. Now we can see all this information from the customers table. But what do we need? We only need male customers living in any of these locations. We only need male customers living in any of these locations. So what does that mean? We'll start by filtering where the gender is equal to male. But how do we attach this? Now, as you can see, all these filter conditions here, basically saying if the customer is living in Ikeja, we want them. If the customer is living in Calabar, we want them. If the customer is living in Port Harcourt, we also want them. These are all coming from the same column. What column? The city column. Because this is where it tells us what city that customer is living in. So we want to filter for multiple criteria from the same column. And what did we just say? So we can do this using the all function. When you need to filter for multiple conditions within the same column, the all function is what can handle that. But here's another problem. Now, if I go ahead and say or city is equal to Ikeja, or city again is equal to Calabar, or the same city again is equal to Port Harcourt. So if we do this, do you think it's going to work? Let's see what happens. Now let's evaluate this result before we continue. We can see, I can already see a male customer, but what is the city? Ugep, Kaduna, Suleja, and we are already seeing these different cities that don't apply to the conditions that we specified. And another issue, we are even seeing a gender we did not specify, even though we said only give us male in our results. So what is happening here? It is because we used the or operator all through. So we are saying if the gender is male, give us the results. If you look at all these genders, they are male, even if the city does not align with what we want. And we are saying if the city is Ikeja, give us in our results. So anywhere we have Ikeja is going to give us as a part of our results. Anywhere we have Calabar, it will be there. Anywhere we have Port Harcourt, it will be there. So this person's city is Port Harcourt. But if you look at the gender is female. So because we are using the or operator, wherever it sees any of these conditions or criteria, it will include it in our results. But if you look at our question carefully, we are only looking at the male customers living in these locations. The male customers alone. Females should not be a part of the results. The male customers alone. So what does that mean? We need to say where the gender is male and the city can be any of these cities. Are you seeing the trick now? The gender must be male, but for this male customer, that customer should be living in any of these cities. So you may think this would be accurate now, but let's see what we are going to get. Now, looking at the results, we can already see another problem. We are seeing some females as a part of our result. So what is the problem this time? So why this is not working as expected? First of all, let's look at the female customers in the results. The first female customer we have, the allocation is Port Harcourt. The second female customer, Port Harcourt. The third female customer, Calabar. That is because this AND operator here is only tying together these two criteria. So this will only give us male customers in Ikeja. If we evaluate the Ikeja city in this result, we realize that they are only males. They are not bringing back any female results. The only cities bringing back female results is Port Harcourt and Calabar. That is because these two criteria are not tied to the gender. They are not tied to the gender. The only city criteria or condition tied to the gender is Ikeja, because that is where we have the AND operator. So how can we tie all this city to this gender condition? How you just do that is you group all of them as a single condition. And you just do this by putting them in a bracket. So basically we are saying where the gender is male, and now we have all the city conditions in a bracket. So we are saying tie this gender condition, tie it together with all the conditions we had specified here. So basically that now means the customer must be a male and the city should fall in any of these options or whatever conditions you have put in brackets. So it is now evaluating all these conditions as a single condition, and then it's tying it together with the gender criteria. So let's execute and see what we have now. And if you look at the result now, this is much more accurate for what we want. You can see they are all male customers and their cities fall in the specified options. So what is the trick here? You need to understand what you want to do, understand your question carefully, and then you need to understand how to tie your conditions together. So looking at the question, we realize that we want to make sure that the customers are male, but these male customers could be living in any of these cities. So the only way to tie them together is, since we have the gender conditions separate, then we also have the city conditions separate. So we have to group all the city together and then tie it together the gender criteria. And that way it is giving us the desired results. I hope that makes sense to us. And if it still doesn't make any sense, you can drop a question in the comment section and we'll try to resolve whatever confusions that you may have. Let's move on to the last question for this video. So this one says, find the product name and prices of laptops less than 1K or mobile phones above 1K. So where can we already find this kind of information? That should tell us we can get this from the products table. And then looking at the products table, we can see all this information. But what do we need? We only need laptops that are less than $1,000 or mobile phones that are above $1,000. So if it's a laptop less than $1,000, it is good to go. But on the other hand, if it's also a mobile phone above $1,000, it is good to go. So first of all, let's understand the question. Laptops less than $1,000. That is one part of the result we need. Mobile phones above $1,000. That is part of the result we need. Now these laptops, we must make sure, if for any reason the laptop is going to be a part of our result, that laptop must be less than $1,000. So that means it has to be a laptop and the price has to be less than $1,000. Meanwhile, on the other hand, it has to be a mobile phone and the price has to be above $1,000. But then, if it's either this or this, it can be a part of our results. So let's see how that will look like. You can now see where the product category is equal to laptop and the unit price is less than 1,000. Now, this is the first part of our result. This is the first part of our condition rather. It has to be a laptop and at the same time it has to be less than 1,000. So it could be this, or it could be that the product is a mobile phone. Product category is equal to mobile phone and the price is greater than 1,000. But then we need to correctly separate these filter conditions so that SQL can help us filter accurately for what we want. So any laptop that is less than 1,000, it should be a part of our results. Any mobile phone that is greater than 1,000, it should be a part of our results. If you look at it closely, there are two separate conditions. Laptop less than 1,000 is on one side. Mobile phones above 1,000 is on one side. So that means I have to group them. And how do you group conditions? You group conditions by just putting them in a bracket. So this condition for laptops less than 1,000, I put that in a single bracket. And then this condition for mobile phones greater than 1,000, I put that in another bracket. So I'm saying these two conditions are serving a single purpose. These two conditions are also serving a single purpose. But then for my results, for the result we want to get, any product that fall in this category, give me. Any product that fall on this other side, also show it. So when we rerun this, let's see what we get. You can now see, we are seeing a mobile phone. And let's take a look at the price of this mobile phone. It is above 1,000. And then these laptops we are seeing here, let's take a look at their prices. They are below 1,000. So with the help of the brackets, you're able to group conditions that you need to be on one side. You can group them together. Just using the bracket or the parentheses, you group conditions that are together, and then this helps you filter for a much more accurate and precise data. So instead of selecting star, all we just need is the product name, comma, we also need the unit price. Then if we rerun, this should now give us the desired results. Come this far, I can assure you that slowly and steadily, you're becoming a pro at using SQL. With the and the or operator in your SQL toolkits, you're going to start writing very, very neat SQL queries. And that's a wrap on the and the or operator. Now that we know how to combine multiple conditions to refine our queries and write queries like a pro, up next, we'll be diving into the in operator. And this is an incredibly useful tool for checking if a value matches multiple criteria. without having to write long or conditions, just like we did for the city, where we said, is the city equal to Ikeja, or is the city equal to Calabar, or is the city equal to Port Harcourt? So instead of writing such long or conditions, with the in operator, you are able to do that even much more shorter and in a much more efficient way. And just like we have done for the previous videos in this series, I will be dropping a number of exercises in the description of this video. So do well to attempt them or try them and drop your code in the comment section, and we can discuss it from there. So make sure to like this video, subscribe, and turn on the notification so you can get notified whenever I drop the next video. Make sure you're practicing, and I'll see you in the next one.